The first rule at Helix Containment Facility was simple. Do not touch her. The rule was printed on every wall inside Sector 9. It was written inside every briefing file. Every scientist had to repeat it before entering the chamber. No eye contact longer than 5 seconds. No emotional engagement. No physical contact. And above all, no curiosity. The Helix facility was built beneath the frozen surface of Eos, a lifeless moon orbiting a distant star. It was far from Earth. Far from politics. Far from fear. But not far enough from wonder. At the very center of the facility, behind 3 layers of containment shields, stood the reason for humanity's greatest discovery. Her. They called her Subject A01. No one dared give her a name. Dr. Kaylin Miles stood behind the observation glass for the first time and forgot to breathe. She stood alone in the chamber. Tall. Luminous. Still. Her skin shimmered faintly like light beneath water. Silver patterns flowed along her arms in slow pulses. Her hair drifted behind her like threads of soft starlight. She did not wear clothes. Instead, thin bands of energy circled her body, glowing gently. She looked fragile. But the energy readings around her said otherwise. She's aware, Technician Alvarez whispered beside him. Kaylin nodded slowly. The air felt heavy, like before a storm. Then her eyes opened. They were pure silver. No pupils. No white. Just liquid light. And she looked directly at him. Alvarez stiffened. She locked onto you. Kaylin did not move. Something strange happened in that moment. He did not feel threatened. He felt. Noticed. And that was worse. The incident. 6 months earlier, Dr. Vera Ishan broke the rule. She was brilliant. Fearless. Obsessed with understanding alien minds. During a maintenance cycle, the containment shield was lowered briefly. Subject A01 stepped forward. Dr. Ishan reached out. Their hands touched for less than a second. Every system in the station exploded with alerts. Power grids surged. Screens shattered. Alarms screamed. Dr. Ishan collapsed. She survived. But she changed. When she woke, she kept repeating the same words. She is alone. She is so alone. She resigned a week later. No one replaced her, until Kaylin. Observation. Kaylin was trained to observe, not to feel. But it became difficult. Each day he stood behind the barrier and recorded data. Each day she stood in the center of the chamber, silent. When the room was empty, her glow dimmed. When staff entered, it brightened. One evening, Kaylin tried something new. He spoke. My name is Kaylin, he said softly. No response. I come from Earth. It has oceans. Blue water that never ends. Her head tilted slightly. Alvarez froze beside him. She reacted. Kaylin continued. On Earth, the sky changes color every evening. Her silver eyes focused on him again. Her light pulsed brighter. She was listening. The first word. It happened without warning. You miss it. The voice was soft. Clear. Real. Alvarez dropped her tablet. Kaylin's heart pounded. You spoke. Her lips moved slowly. You miss Earth. Yes, he said. She studied him. Why? Because it's home. She repeated the word slowly. Home. Then her glow dimmed. Mine is gone. The room went silent. Kaylin stepped closer to the glass. Destroyed. She shook her head gently. Fading. Her truth. Her name was Era. Her species called themselves the Lithy. They were not individuals. They were a chorus. Their minds connected across vast space through something called resonance. They did not speak. They touched. Touch was communication. Touch was memory. Touch was identity. When your scientist touched me, Era said carefully, we shared. Kaylin understood now. Dr. Ishan was not harmed. She was overwhelmed. You are alone now, he asked. Era looked around the chamber. I am, single note. The loneliness in her voice cut deep. Our star weakens, she explained. Distance grows. I remain to find bridge. A bridge to humanity. Yes. And that bridge is touch. She nodded. The decision. Director Havel did not trust her. She destabilizes systems, he warned. She stabilizes me, Kaylin replied quietly. Transfer orders came. Era would be moved to a higher security facility. More isolation. More silence. That night, Kaylin stayed late. The chamber was quiet. He stood at the control panel. The containment shield hummed softly. Era approached the barrier. Kaylin. Her voice carried something new. Fear. I do not wish to disappear. You won't, he said. Silence is disappearance. His hand hovered over the control panel. If he did this, there was no undoing it. He shut off the shield. The air shifted. No alarms yet. Era stepped forward. For the first time, nothing stood between them. She was taller than he expected. Up close, faint constellations shimmered beneath her skin. If this harms you, she whispered, I will stop. If it harms me, he said softly, at least we will know. He reached out. Contact. The moment his fingers touched her wrist, the universe shattered. Not violently. Expansively. Light filled his vision. He saw skies of violet and gold. Oceans made of crystal energy. Cities formed from living light. He heard a chorus, billions of voices layered in perfect harmony. He felt their sorrow. A star fading. A civilization slowly disconnecting. Loneliness like cold space. But Era guided the connection gently. She limited the flow. She protected him. You are strong, her voice echoed inside him. So are you, he replied silently. She saw Earth through him. Blue oceans. Children laughing. The smell of rain. The ache of leaving home. They did not merge. They resonated. Two separate beings. Connected. Alarms finally began screaming. Security rushed in. But something unexpected happened. The station did not overload. It stabilized. Energy readings balanced. Power grids calmed. Era smiled. For the first time since her arrival. Aftermath. Kaylin was taken to medical. Scans showed heightened neural activity. No damage. Director Havel stared at him. You're alive. Yes. Do you feel different? Kaylin considered. Less alone. Silence. Did she harm you? No. Would you do it again? Yes. The transfer was cancelled. New protocol. Supervised contact trials began. Volunteers only. Short sessions. Gradual exposure. Each scientist experienced something different. Shared emotion. Fragments of memory. Understanding. No one collapsed. No one broke. Fear slowly turned into wonder. Containment became collaboration. Era's glow grew brighter every day. You are louder now, she told Kaylin once. In a good way, he asked. In a living way. Her connection to the Lithe began to strengthen. The distance shortened. The chorus faintly returned. She was no longer a single note. The true bridge. Months later, Kaylin stood beside Era in the observation dome. Outside, the barren moon stretched endlessly. Above, stars burned in silence. They feared you, he said. Fear is first step, she replied. And now? They listen. He took her hand openly. No alarms. No shields. Just contact. You were untouchable, he said. I was waiting. For what? For one who would reach. He smiled. I guess that was me. She leaned her forehead gently against his. This time, no explosion. Just warmth. Resonance. Two minds sharing space without losing themselves. Behind them, the Helix facility no longer felt like a prison. It felt like a bridge. Humanity had learned something powerful. The unknown is not meant to be contained. It is meant to be met. Era's species had not faded into silence. They found connection. And humanity, in daring to reach past fear, discovered its greatest strength. Not weapons. Not walls. But courage. The stars above still burned. But they no longer felt cold. Because somewhere out there, a chorus was growing stronger. And for the first time in history, the universe did not feel silent. It felt alive. The stars above us had always been silent. Cold. Distant. Until the day they answered back. It started with a tremor. Not on the moon's surface. Not inside the Helix facility. But in Era. Dr. Kalen Miles felt it the moment he stepped into the observation dome. Era stood near the glass, staring into space. Her silver skin glowed brighter than ever before. The patterns along her arms moved fast, like racing light. Era, he asked softly. Her voice trembled. They hear me. Kalen's heart skipped. The Lithe? Yes. Outside the dome, space shimmered. At first, it looked like a distortion, like heat rising from desert sand. Then the distortion deepened. Space folded inward. And something emerged. Not a ship. Not metal. Not machinery. It was alive. A massive structure of flowing light unfolded itself in orbit above EOS. It looked like a blooming star made of crystal veins and radiant energy. The Helix alarm screamed. Technicians ran. Director Havel's voice echoed over comms. Unknown object entering orbit. Defensive protocol. Stop! Kalen shouted. Everyone froze. Era stepped forward, her glow matching the object in the sky. They are not weapons, she said. They are my people. First contact, again. Humanity had prepared for alien invasion. Missiles. Rail cannons. Orbital defense systems. But nothing in military history prepared them for beauty. The structure in orbit pulsed like a living heart. No shields activated. No attack came. Instead, a beam of soft silver light descended from the massive shape and touched the surface of Eos. Not destructive. Gentle. Like a hand reaching down. Era closed her eyes. Her body lifted slightly off the ground. Kalen rushed forward but stopped himself. He trusted her. He had to. The silver beam wrapped around her like an embrace. Her voice echoed, not through speakers. Through the station. Through the minds of everyone present. We are found. Several scientists collapsed to their knees, not from pain, but from emotion. A wave of feeling passed through the facility. Relief. Joy. Connection. Director Havel gripped the console. What is happening? Kalen whispered the answer. The chorus. The offer. Hours later, global governments were connected through emergency transmission. The alien structure remained in orbit. Peaceful. Waiting. Era stood beside Kalen in the central chamber. But she was different now. Stronger. Brighter. Not a single note anymore. A bridge fully formed. They wished to speak, she said. With Earth. Havel asked carefully. With all. A sphere of light formed in the center of the room. Inside it, shapes moved, tall beings of radiant silver like Era, but layered together, as if many existed in one body. A voice filled the chamber. Not loud. But impossible to ignore. We are the Lithe. No translator was needed. Every human understood. We felt one of ours lost across the dark. We felt your fear. We felt your courage. The sphere shifted. Images flooded the room. Stars dying, galaxies spinning, civilizations rising and falling. You reached when you could have destroyed. You listened when you could have silenced. The room held its breath. We offer union. The word shook the air. Not invasion. Not rule. Union. Human fear. The United Earth Council did not answer immediately. Fear spread fast. News networks exploded. Alien fleet in orbit. Is this the end? Military leaders demanded permission to fire. Religious groups called it judgment. Markets collapsed. Humanity had always feared losing control. And this was beyond control. Director Havel turned to Kalen. If this is a simulation. It isn't, Kalen said firmly. Era nodded. We do not conquer. We connect. But what does that mean? Havel pressed. The lithe voice answered. Voluntary resonance. Shared knowledge. Shared experience. No loss of self. Humans did not trust easily. History had taught them that. But Kalin stepped forward. I touched her, he said to the council cameras broadcasting live to Earth. I did not lose myself. He looked into the lens. I became more. The test. Still, humanity demanded proof. One volunteer would connect publicly. Monitored. Measured. If there was danger, Earth would cut communication. Kalin did not hesitate. I'll do it. Era's silver eyes softened. You have already bridged once. I know. The connection chamber was prepared. This time, there was no containment shield. No fear alarms. Only observation. Millions watched live from Earth. Kalin stepped forward and took Era's hand. The silver beam from orbit focused gently onto them. The world went silent. Then, humanity saw. Through Kalin's mind. Not control. Not invasion. Wonder. They saw alien oceans glowing with light. They saw a civilization that had never known war because minds were shared before hatred could grow. They felt what it was like to never be alone. Tears streamed down faces across Earth. Children pointed at screens in awe. Scientists forgot to breathe. And when the connection ended, Kalin stood steady. Alive. Smiling. I'm still me, he said simply. And I am still me, Era added. Fear cracked. Not vanished. But cracked. The choice of a species. The lithe did not pressure. They waited. Humanity debated for 7 days. Arguments filled parliaments. Is individuality sacred? Is connection dangerous? Is this evolution? In the end, the decision was simple. Participation would be voluntary. No forced resonance. No global merging. A choice. That was enough. The first wave of volunteers stepped forward. Scientists. Artists. Doctors. Teachers. Soldiers. They connected in short sessions. They returned changed, calmer, broader in perspective, less afraid of difference. Crime rates began dropping. International tensions softened. It was not magic. It was empathy amplified. When you feel another's pain directly, cruelty becomes harder. The unexpected problem. But peace never arrives without challenge. Weeks into the exchange, something shifted. Era felt it first. The chorus, strains. The lithe star, their dying sun, continued to weaken. Resonance across such vast distance required energy. Too much. Their return to the solar system had cost them greatly. Kalin met her worried gaze. You're losing power. Yes. Director Havel frowned. What happens if your star dies? The answer came from orbit. We fade. Humanity had gained connection. Now the lithe risked extinction. Silence filled the chamber. Then Kalin spoke. What if we help? The idea seemed impossible. How could humanity restart a star? But humans had something unique. Ingenuity born from struggle. They had reignited fusion reactors on dying colonies before. They had stabilized unstable suns for mining operations. Never on this scale. But never with alien knowledge either. Era looked at him slowly. You would save us. Kalin smiled faintly. You reached across the universe for us. Seems fair. Humanity's answer. Within days, Earth launched the largest scientific effort in history. Not warships, but construction fleets. Energy amplifiers. Fusion arrays. The lithe shared their understanding of stellar resonance. Human engineers modified it with brute force reactor science. It was messy, inefficient, creative. Together, they designed a resonance amplifier, a massive structure that would orbit the lithe star and strengthen its core output. It would take months to build. The lithe fleet remained in orbit around Earth, conserving energy. Era stayed beside Kalin. One evening in the observation dome, she spoke quietly. You surprise us. How? You are fragile, short-lived, divided. Yet you choose to help beyond your survival. Kaylin leaned against the glass. We've made enough mistakes in our history. It's time we tried something better. She touched his hand lightly. Resonance flowed. Warm. Steady. You are loud, she teased softly. In a good way, he smiled. In a brave way. The final ignition. The day the amplifier activated, both species watched. The device unfolded near the Lithy star, a structure built by human hands and guided by alien understanding. Energy beams aligned. Fusion cores flared. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, the star brightened. Not violently, but steadily, like a heartbeat growing stronger. Across space, the Lithy chorus roared back to life. Era gasped. They sing. The fleet in Earth's orbit pulsed with radiant waves of light. Not weapon fire. Celebration. Kaylin felt tears in his eyes. We did it. No, Era corrected gently. We did. A new era. Months later, the Lithy prepared to return home. Not in desperation. In strength. Era stood once more in the observation dome. The stars no longer felt cold. They will ask if I return, she said softly. Kaylin felt the weight of that. And will you? She looked at him. I am bridge. He nodded slowly. Then bridges must stand on both sides. She stepped closer. I will travel. I will return. I belong to chorus. And? He asked quietly. And to you. They touched foreheads. No explosion. Just resonance. Deep. Steady. Human. Lithy. Different. Connected. The legacy. The Lithy fleet departed in waves of silver light. But this time, the silence they left behind was not empty. Human volunteers continued resonance sessions. Joint research programs began. Earth built its first resonance communication tower, allowing instant emotional transmission across light years. Wars grew rarer. Understanding grew stronger. Humanity did not lose itself. It expanded. Years later, children learned about the day the sky changed. Not as the day aliens came, but as the day humanity chose courage over fear. Kaylin often stood alone in the dome. Waiting. Listening. And sometimes, he felt her. Across the stars. A soft pulse. A familiar note in the chorus. The universe no longer felt silent. It felt shared. And humanity had proven something powerful. Strength is not domination. Strength is reaching out. The first rule had once been, do not touch her. Now the new rule was simple. Do not fear the unknown. Reach for it. And when it reaches back, be brave enough to hold on.